Welcome into another video. I feel like my camera looks like shit on this, honestly. Anyway, this video is going to teach you my strategy of running ads for an info product business, e-commerce business, service-based business. It doesn't matter what it is. Ultimately, this is the best strategy. If you have some good money to spend on ads, this is the best way I would go about doing so. There's a strategy that if you don't have too much money to spend on ads that you can start utilizing, but nonetheless, it's all going to typically work the same, only because we need to have a lower cost to get the video out in front of more people that we're looking to get into our ecosystem, which is pretty much just means like we need as many eyeballs as possible of the people we want to work with to see our ad and offer, right? So let's get right into it. I have a quick little doc. We'll share screen and go over it together. It's called authority looping ads, okay? This exposure on the camera is completely crazy right now. There, let's just do that. All right, so to run profitable Facebook ads for e-learning businesses is what I like to call the authority looping ad strategy. It's really simple. It ultimately will trigger the phantom effect that I have at Phantom Marketing. That's what I call it, phantom effect, because ultimately there's an invisible flywheel behind this strategy that basically turns into a profit producing machine. So let's go straight through it so you can see how it all works. Take some notes. You'll also get this document down below this video, and I'll put it in there for you so that you can take it, read through it, and use it if you want. But ultimately what it is this guide here is going to teach you my specialized strategy that I've built and designed here to trigger the phantom effect. Okay. The strategy, it's specifically, I've done this for a lot of information businesses, so I've been mostly proven for that business model. It'll work for any business model, to be honest. As long as there's some sort of creator behind the brand, you can absolutely do this. Now, if it's just the brand, like let's just say you have an e-commerce business and it's just like a brand name, you can absolutely do this as long as you attach some sort of creator to it that has authority already. It'll be a lot easier because the brand has authority. As long as you have someone credible to teach something and kind of implement this about the product for the brand, then it'll work as well. Okay. To be very clear, obviously like influencer marketing, stuff like that. You can do the same strategy. Okay. But it's ultimately designed to increase authority, reduce your cost, and achieve better overall results with paid ads when it comes to cost per acquisition, cost per booked call, cost per lead, cost per purchase, whatever it is. The metrics on the back are always very, very good with this method. So the method involves creating a sequence of engagement ads, retargeting based on audience behavior, and leveraging unique software to optimize for conversions. That's the 3 phases essentially. Okay. So we'll go through each of them here. Step number 1, creating engagement ads. Now, the objective here is to build a strong foundation of authority and trust by pre-framing your audience through a sequence of engagement ads. So this means you're basically going to have like a specific 5 sets of ads, 5 actual ad creatives individually lined up to be able to indoctrinate and pre-frame your viewer coming into your ecosystem, seeing your ads for the first time, right? So cool. We go public, we go create an ad campaign. We're going to get leads who are accredited investors, and maybe we have a fund business, right? We have a PE firm or whatever the case is. Or maybe it's a e-commerce offer and we are teaching people how to get into e-com, right? So we need people who are searching for Shopify or WooCommerce, BigCommerce, all these softwares, whatever the case is, AutoDS, right? We're targeting these same people who are in the world of online dropshipping or whatever the case. All right. So we need to indoctrinate that person to understand that we are the authority teaching what we teach and we're the best at what we do. In order to do that, we have to pre-frame them to understand that we are that person. So these are going to be designed to answer natural questions that a potential lead has about your company, gradually building credibility and positioning you as an authority in your industry. Okay, well, what does that even mean? How does that make sense? All right, well, this is the ad sequence, and it's the natural 5 questions that everybody asks, regardless of if you basically had to put the questions in front of them, right? This is just the natural thought process psychologically that people have. Okay, so they see us for the first time. Who the hell are these guys? All right. So we establish credibility by introducing the brand here. Okay. So an example, we are brand, blah, blah, blah. We're a team of experts, blah, blah, blah. Framing, this highlights your experience, right? Accolades and credentials essentially for who we are. Cool. Okay. Trust you. But what is it that you guys do? So that's where number 2 comes in. Now we have a second video. And the reason why we do it this way, just to be clear, is one built off of another, but only the person that sees the ad previously, the former ad, they will then see the next ad. So like, let's just say we have an audience pool of 100 people here. Let me use blue. So we have an audience pool of 100 people here, right? Let's just imagine this is 100 people. Okay. And this is about to disappear since I'm on Loom. So I'm going to continuously write. But let's just say this pool of 100 people are being shown these ads. These people are going to see ad number 1 first, a certain percentage of them. And once they see the ad, now they're going to be targeted with ad 2. And then once they see ad 1 and 2, they're going to be targeted with ad 3. And it's going to be a continuous loop of these 5 ads. And so we're going to continuously do that because what we want to do is tell them basically like walk them through a journey of these 5 steps. All right. So ultimately, we're answering the 5 questions that they're ultimately going to ask. They see our first ad, who we are, because that's the first thing. They see us like, who the hell are these people? We answer that question. Now they're going to ask, well, what do these guys do if they don't click and go find out for themselves on the page and all that? Because these are all not going to have any call to action, to be clear, other than just building authority and credentials, okay, and credibility, I mean. So then they're going to ask, okay, well, what do these guys even do? So we're going to clearly communicate what the business offers, all right, but not in a context of calling them to action to take that bait. It's ultimately just telling them what we do and how we've done that, right? Which we'll go into in another one on number 4 here, but we're going to provide, we provide X, Y, and whatever to help people just like this, like we have X, Y, and whatever. And then it's going to be like, well, why do you guys do that? Or like, why do you do it that way? Maybe it's like a new method or model that you teach on e-com or whatever. It's like, well, why do you guys do that stuff? Like, why did you even get into this business? Now we're going to answer that question as well. This provides the actual purpose behind you building this company, whether it be, you have some sort of emotional story around why you want to help other people or not. That's up to you to do anything you want with this one. But ultimately, that's the purpose of this one, is showing your mission and core reason behind your business to build an emotional connection and trust with someone. It's just like people being tied to a brand that's like sustainability focused, right? We give 10% of our earnings to ecosystem, charity, foundation, whatever, right? Whatever. It's the same idea. Obviously, for an education business, it could be something similar too. Maybe you're trying to reform the education world for your industry. So you're going to basically start like an online collective of information, I guess. I don't know, whatever it is, like an online school or something like that, to help people out, or I don't know, whatever your purpose is. I have videos teaching your purpose, your core values, and all that kind of stuff, building your mission statement inside of my free program. You can join down below in the description. It's Monetize Mentor. I teach all this, and also if you want my actual direct help, I can help you do so and run these ads for you. Just let me know in the community down below. It's all free. Nonetheless, let's get into this example. We believe that specific belief or mission is why we're dedicated to specific solution or outcome, right? And you can tell a story based on that. So this is going to connect emotionality by sharing your deeper purpose about the business. Okay, that's awesome. I like these guys. I like to hear all of this stuff. But like, how do you guys actually do it? I'm actually kind of interested now. Okay, well, this is exactly how it actually works. Explain your unique process or methodology that sets you apart from competitors. It's all information based. We're not calling them to action. None of that. Okay, this is all based on information only. And I see you might be asking, well, what the hell is the purpose of all this? That's what step number 2 is going to be. Okay, so pay attention. But here is like using our XYZ process, unique approach, technology, whatever. We ensure that you get XYZ result. Just like I'm telling you here, my unique process is by utilizing the phantom marketing, authority looping ads to get you better cost, right? Those are my specific results. Better cost per acquisition, better cost per lead and cost per booked call, and much higher quality leads at the end of the day. Okay, that's awesome. Well, then how can I get started then? Well, that's the last question, right? Because the number 4, that shows them and what makes your approach unique and trustworthy in and of itself. And now they're like, well, how can I get started doing this too then? That's where we want them to be. Obviously, it's going to be a continuous progression of people who drop off. Like, let's just say we start at 100 people or 100% here. This is going to then be 80%. Obviously, I'm just showing you, for example, 70, 40, and then like 20. Okay. So that's the overall size of audience that's left over from all of these. But still, nonetheless, like you'll see that when we spend money on doing these ads, the cost is like literally, it could be pennies, like literally percentages on pennies for leads, for views, right? I said leads, but I mean views, like people who are actually watching this, watching these videos. So it's very, very cheap to do this way. All right. But the purpose of this one is providing a clear action to guide prospects to the next step they should take. Okay. And this is pretty much just telling them informationally wise of like how they can get connected, but not what to do next. Okay. That, to be very clear, that's going to come in step 2, which I'll share with you in just a second. But this is like how people work with you. Like, how do people work with you? Well, for me, I can explain to you right now, like I have an agency called Phantom Marketing. What I do is I run ads to funnels, build out the funnel and script out their VSL. And from there, optimize their sales process to increase the amount of quality booked calls for them that buy their programs. That's what I do. That's how people work with me. People have found me through YouTube. I basically have built my brand here, and I have a community as well that people work with me on and all that kind of good stuff or whatever, right? So if you're like ready to get started, you can do more of a call to action for a booked call. I recommend you test that. Okay. I've found success with both, but I wanted to give you an example here, and I'll actually add that in here as well for you. I recommend to test this without a proper CTA first. I'm going to say first. So that way you guys know. All right. Hopefully that makes sense for this 5-step process here, because it's very simple, but you're removing friction and making the next steps very simple and laid out for like how they can get connected and how people could work with you. Okay. So the optimization here is these ads are optimized for watch time with no CTA other than to engage with the content itself. The more reach we get is going to be better for the spend, because we need the reach to get in front of the right people. So we need to accumulate views as cheaply as possible, often costing just a few pennies per view. And literally could be percentages on pennies as well. Very simple. All right. So the engagement ad should focus purely on delivering value and building authority. That's number one key metric here, is building authority, because what we're going to do, we need to build a larger, more engaged audience to retarget as we get into step number 2. All right. So now we just accumulated, maybe we just spent pennies for views, like literally percentages off pennies for views. And we have like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of views on a lot of our ads that we just spent 2 weeks pumping out and just leveraging for content and engagement. That way we can go and build custom audiences with those views. So essentially step number 2 is going to get into building those custom audiences based on through play of those Facebook ads that we just ran. All right. So the best way to do it is you go into Facebook, there's like a specific audiences section where it's like, cool, build a custom audience, right? From there, it's like, where do you want to build this custom audience, and what is the custom audience going to be? Well, I want them from these 5 ads, select those ads, and I want it based on through play. Okay. So through play just means people who view the video for at least 15 seconds. All right. So that is going to be the metric that we're optimizing for, so we can build that audience. Now you can create other custom audiences based on, multiple different view times, like 90% of the video view, 100% of the video view, or whatever the case is. You can do whatever you want. Obviously the higher likelihood of more quality is having 100% views, right? But you can create multiple custom audiences and test it accordingly. As you get higher percentages of video view, the lower the amount of audience it is. So that's why 15 seconds is a good amount, nonetheless, for this. And ultimately, people who have done that for all of the videos, to be clear, right? Like that's the most successful audience that you'll have built. All right. So the objective of this is to create direct response ads to retarget the audience that engage with your initial sequence of authority building ads, like I just said. So these retargeting ads are designed to convert the warm audience into leads or customers by prompting them to take the specific action that we have in step 2 ads now, which is, so we just built the campaign for engagement, right? Now we need to build a campaign for actual direct response action taking ads, right? So here we have authority building. We take the audience right here, and now we're going to take this audience and target them towards the actual call to actions. Going to watch your free training, downloading your ebook, booking a call directly, those types of things, right? So there's an option to run native Facebook lead form surveys, which is going to get ultimately better lead results. Could potentially not do so well on the actual conversion end because typically people put in fake shit on their emails and stuff like that. So like having a funnel with a form that qualifies emails and numbers before they actually turn into a lead could be beneficial for you, but more expensive, obviously. But being that we're doing it this way where we spent money on the first campaign here with a better quality audience, it still overall will be lower cost, even though it will be more expensive, because overall, as a broad view of it, more of these people, even though if it might be a lesser number, are going to show up at a higher rate, be a lesser of a headache, give you true proper information, contact information being said, right? And also ultimately being a higher quality individual, actually fitting the bill for what it is we're looking for. So that in and of itself the numbers might look worse comparative to general ad strategies on paper in the ad account. Okay. But when you really look at the broad view of the ROI, it's much more effective cost wise, because I'd rather have 100 qualified booked calls where 80% of them show up and I can convert close to 50% versus 100 booked calls, or let's just say even 200 booked calls, half of them being shit, and then 30% of those even actually showing up, and then 5% of those people actually converting into a sale because they're not broke, right? That's typically what the difference would really be here. That's very polarizing, very dramatic, but still nonetheless, that's how it feels anyway, right? Because you'll see the night and day difference with these types of leads. So you can do direct users to the lead form with Facebook, have them fill out the quick little survey, and then prompt them to go to the actual booking page that has the VSL on it, which is one of the best ways, right? They're prompted to watch the video sales letter and book a consultation on that same page. So to go like lead form, then they click the last button if they're qualified on the lead form with conditional logic. And then on that next page, it's going to be the VSL video with a booking form underneath, which is just your calendar. So they watch the video, book a call, and from there, you'll be able to get a good qualified booked call, reach out to them directly, call them, text them or whatever, and then make sure they're good to go. And that's how you can get higher quality leads that way. Or you can just have them go from strictly like from the ad to the VSL itself with the booking page there. That's one way to do it too. But at the end of the day, there's three ways, I guess, you can do this from the VSL, right? So you can do from the ad to the VSL strictly to the actual training page, whether it be a training VSL or an ebook or whatever, there's always going to be some sort of opt-in. Okay. So we use a proprietary software that is inside of our ecosystem. It's not our software, but it's a proprietary one because it does something that no other software can do. It's a software where once someone watches the video on the actual VSL itself, we've scripted VSLs out to be so engaging that it's basically building up their anticipation to see the main offer and understand basically the promise that we're promising for them watching this video. And ultimately showing them that secret that they clicked on the video to watch in the first place. It locks in the middle of the video to have them fill out a form to unlock the rest of the video so they can get the secrets on the second part of the video. So it'll essentially be like a video like you're watching here. It'll pause and say, all I need you to do is fill out this quick form if you want to see the secrets of how X, Y, and Z, whatever. And then it'll pause. Form, fill it out, boom, unpause, it continues. We just got an opt-in. They're already highly engaged. They've already watched 10 minutes of a video. Now they're way more of a qualified lead for you already. And then at the end of the video, another pop-up will come up, which is a button to go actually apply or book a call, right? Because we do want them to fill out a survey, but you can have it either on the calendar once they fill out their information to qualify them through that, or have them fill out a survey and then book a call. Depending on the scenario, we usually test and split test other things depending on the market, but that's typically how we do it. So the VSL is designed with two parts in mind. Part one, build curiosity, deliver value, leading up to a big promise or secret. Part two, the video pauses and prompts the viewer to opt in by filling out a form to see or uncover the secret. After opting in, the consultation booking button appears, allowing them to schedule a call as the secret is revealed, right? So now they know your offer. A lot of people book a call because they don't know the offer yet. And then that's their big question. They just want more information ultimately. So if we can mitigate for that, we get still a lead opt-in from them watching the video. Then they go and book a call because they have already seen the offer. They're only going to have questions on how they can make it a reality for them. That's so big. Your sales calls will be much less time. You'll obviously get a higher cost for this, but your overall, like I said, conversions are way higher, ridiculously higher, because of the fact that these are extremely qualified leads who are serious about moving forward and not just like, kicking tires. So the optimization here is to retarget the custom audience created from the engagement ads based on ThroughPlay data. And it's not spelled like that. It's spelled like that. I always do that. But then you want to allocate a modest but a sufficient budget to retarget this warm audience. So usually I do like $100 a day. Nothing crazy, 100 to $200 a day. If you have some sort of a good, healthy budget and you can spend a little bit of money, I would do easily $300 a day. You'll be able to really get a lot of this picked up even more speed. Because if you didn't know this already, ads is a matter of timing as well as data. It's all numbers. So the more money I spend, the faster my results will come in, okay? Because we'll have collected more data from more spend being spent. So there's rules when it comes to all this stuff, but if we're spending a lower budget, it's going to take more time to accumulate more data, and data is information. So we just need more information to make better decisions. So that's why spending more will make decision process shorter, which means we can scale faster versus the other inverse of that, okay? But as we get into this other step here, we'll see step number 3, which is the data collection optimization using our unique software. So the objective here is to leverage a unique proprietary software that I was telling you about to collect this critical data from your VSL and feed it back into Facebook for optimized retargeting. So what's really cool about this software too is that we can put the coding on the actual VSL itself for when people watch that. Because if you don't know about this, there's certain things that are going on with Facebook right now and also have already happened. You heard like the whole iOS 14 update or whatever, all that shit before. Now, the reason why it's super hard from that moment in time to run ads from that time into the future is because the tracking ability to know any of the data when they leave the website or when they leave the platform, Facebook wasn't really allowed to track any of that stuff. So they can't take any of that data. Like if you think about it like this, anybody on Facebook using Facebook, they can track all that. That's why lead forms do better than taking them outside of that to a landing page, right? That's typically why lead forms are dominant, but the quality is usually sometimes pretty low because ultimately they put fake information and whatever the case, they're not very serious or whatever it is, right? So like taking them away from it makes sure like that point of friction is put in place so that like we know that at least they're a little bit more serious, but we can't track that data then, right? Unless we feed the pixel from the actual page to feed back an opt-in. That's the usual way. Like an opt-in would be counted, or a page view would be counted as an event fed back to Facebook on that person's account for us to go retarget that person, okay? That's the usual mainstream way. But what if you were able to basically track that person's action to click on the video and how much they've watched of the video, right? Think about that. That is way more beneficial because, yeah, cool. A page view, they can have just clicked it and clicked off. Like that's obvious. But what if we can start building audiences based on them clicking the video, them watching a certain percentage of the video, and building audiences around that? That is much more valuable. That's what the software can do. So if we think about it, we'll be able to, number one, we'll get much higher quality because if we put that coding on the video, we're able to track that, bring it back to Facebook and let them know, hey, this person watched 50% of the video. I want to retarget them. This is the custom audience. Start building an audience of people who watch 50% of this video. And then I'm going to go retarget those people again. And the retargeting becomes way more beneficial for you because ultimately they're way higher quality leads. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing here. This step is essential for reducing your cost overall and improving ad performance long-term for yourself. So we're going to collect that data. Any clicks on the VSL video, watch time and engagement metrics of the actual VSL video, and actions taken such as that form opt-in and consultation booking from the button itself to go book a call because we can track all of these metrics. So here's how it works. I'll explain it one more time. Facebook is limited in its ability to gather this level of data off platform. Okay. So our software captures it and feeds it back to Facebook in real time, ensuring more precise retargeting at a lower cost, not just a page view or an opt-in itself, but actual watch time on your free training, video training, webinar, even doesn't matter what video it is, we can track all of that information. So this approach results in lower cost per lead because ultimately the overall return we'll see will make, like, the lead cost might be higher now because there'll be less people watching the video, but out of the people who actually convert into a real sale, we'll make the cost offset to be cheaper in the long run because we're going to collect more money off the back end. But we can only do that after getting higher quality in the front end. That's what this is solving for, right? Increased frequency on ads, which means the amount of times people see an ad, which means more trust, more authority, more dominance, right? With retargeting, and overall better return on ad spend long term. Like I said, once we convert more people on the back end, that means we collected more money than we would the other way. We can spend $5 per lead, but if only 20% of those people are actually qualified and then only 30% of those people actually book a call, then we're looking at, my camera is, there we go. Then we're looking at a really bad situation because, yeah, cool, we can spend minimal amount to get a lead, but like those people are complete shit quality and they're not converting on the back end. So we want to stay away from that. So that's why it's better to spend more up front, because you're going to make more in the long run on the back end by this strategy with us. So the leads gathered from the VSL are added to a custom audience for further retargeting, increasing the quality of leads and conversions. Now, I do want to make sure this is stressed. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, dude, well, I don't have this software. Like, how the hell can I do this? Well, you can still go out and do this. I'm just saying this makes it better, right? This just makes it way better. So there's softwares out there that can do certain things like this. The one that we utilize, we kind of keep it proprietary to us, for us using it for our clients. But nonetheless, the way that this is done, you can do all the other stuff the same way and you'll still get very, very solid results. But there's much more to this software that I just, like, if I were to explain, it would take up a whole 30 minutes of itself, and it's very, very complex and shouldn't even be your main focus anyway. You should hire someone to do it regardless. But either way, that software, the software makes this much, much better when it comes to retargeting people at a broader scale. All right. The bonus step here is the email follow-up with embedded videos as well. What's really cool is you can do the same thing with the embedded videos that we put into the actual campaigns on the software too. And you can do this by you leveraging ActiveCampaign 2 or HubSpot or GHL or whatever else. You can do the same thing, okay? But what's really cool is the objective here is to maximize the value of leads who have opted in. We implement a follow-up email sequence that includes embedded videos like case studies, testimonials, free trainings, exclusive trainings, right? To build trust, authority, and overall credibility while driving leads to book a call on the email flows itself. So we can personalize it much, much better. Obviously, if they watch 50% of the video where I had the opt-in form to watch the rest of the video and they didn't book a call, I can email them continuously saying, hey, you watched the free training. I thought this would be valuable for you, Jeff. I want you to check this out because I wanted to send this over to you personally, right? Obviously, it's an automation, but nonetheless, they don't know that. It sounds very personalized, and then you create that video, whatever that video might look like. It's the case study. They watch that, and it's the same deal. Now you have an audience of people who watch the videos in your emails because we can track that same data and plug it into Facebook, right? Based on what we do. You can also just do this either way. Go high level. If you have a hosted video, you can do this as well by giving them the funnel link that has the video on it and then tracking the watch time on that specific video and having that information internally on Go High Level and creating automations to feed it back to Facebook. Just a little bit more complex, but you can still do it. So you don't need the software. I'm not trying to gatekeep this so you work with me. I'm just trying to let you know, like, the way I do it is a lot simpler, but it will be complex to teach it. With the other way, opposite of that is to do it yourself, and you can utilize whatever software you want to do this same features on. Okay. It's just some of them don't have the same features. Nonetheless, though, the context of the actual email looks something like similar to this: case studies, highlight successful clients and their results, exclusive Q&A recordings. Maybe you had like an internal group chat with your clients and stuff like that, and it was very valuable, and you want them to see what kind of like a taste of what they can get inside of your program, right? Or maybe you felt like you had a fire teaching that day, right? You really liked what you talked about, and you want to provide that to other people so they can see like, damn, dude, like, this is a crazy community. I want to be part of that. So, and maybe you talked on some specific questions that you think are very valuable for everyone else to learn. So that maybe you drop that for people like, hey, Jeff, I literally just had a group chat today. I was talking about X, Y, and whatever. I thought this would be extremely important for you because you watched the training on how I X, Y, and whatever. So take a look at this whenever you get a chance. It's completely free. I only send this to a couple people, and I thought you would be one of them that would be interested in it. Bro, that's so personal that they would click on that and watch that video like crazy. Like so many people would actually do that. The call to action there, each email would include a prompt to schedule a quick consultation call with a button on the email. That's the obviously important part too, is like get more booked calls with people who didn't book a call yet or booked and canceled or whatever the case. Okay. Quite simple stuff too. So the optimization here is by consistently delivering value through these emails. Like I said, you don't need the software that we utilize here at Phantom Marketing to do all of this, but at the end of the day, you can go figure it out on your own with Go High Level. It's probably the best alternative to what we do. It's just a little bit more complex. Okay. But you want to deliver value in these emails and further nurture leads and increase the likelihood of conversions through the email process. Okay. So the combination of video content inside of the email with actionable insights helps maintain engagement and build stronger connection with the audience too, regardless of if they take action. They'll see you as much more of a credible source. Okay. So the conclusion here is the authority looping ad strategy overall, we'll get into the science behind all of this in just a second, but when executed with these steps, will create a powerful phantom effect. Phantom effect is just basically a label that I put on to how we can generate more leads with the back-end invisible type of flywheel process with the retargeting, right? So it's an invisible authority building approach that not only reduces costs, but it improves results, but also significantly increases the quality of leads and conversions overall. So leveraging this unique software and strategic retargeting is what we do. You can do this on your own with other softwares. The one thing you won't be able to do though is be able to maintain the accurate retargeting from the VSL video itself. We have the only proprietary way to do that. You can go find the softwares out there. That's the only thing that if we were to break down together, it's going to be extremely complex for you to understand. So it's called eBoov. You might have heard of it before. Didn't want to gatekeep it for you or anything like that, but ultimately you can go try to test it out. You're going to have to spend a lot of money to go get it up and running. We basically just leverage it for everybody we work with already and do it for you. So choice is up to you. Several $1,000s to get started with them though. And then you still have to figure out how to make it all work and actually run the ads and all that kind of stuff. So go ahead. You can go figure that out by yourself if you want, or you can just allow us to leverage it for you. Okay. So the strategic marketing methods and all this kind of good stuff is why it's so important. Like building all of this is going to help you in this competitive marketplace because there's so many people out there building businesses like this that it just makes it extremely difficult to be successful unless you have a team who's dedicated to actually helping you do this, that does this for other people already and knows how to make you stand out. Because it's all going to come down to your offer, what you're promising to your audience, how you deliver that, and also the marketing tactics that we use to make sure we have lower costs when it comes to spending money on it. So in order to do that, you need to either know how to do all this shit yourself or find someone who does and learn from them, have them build it into your business, or just leverage them so you can have them on your team, partner up with you, and scale together, obviously, if you guys fit. That's why we do what we do. So if this was at all interesting to you, you can absolutely book a call with us, join the Monetize Mentor group so I can teach you directly if you want. Whatever the case looks like, I'm more than happy to help. But this is the science behind the phantom effect, okay? And the keys to success here overall with leveraging this with us, okay? So this strategy is grounded in a combination of proven marketing science and psychological principles that builds authority, like in the 5 main ad questions that we're answering. So we're going to optimize engagement with those and convert those leads at a higher rate because of that, because we're proving the authority in authority looping ads. However, the overall success of the strategy hinges on 3 critical factors, okay? And these are very subjective, but they can be objective based on data. So being great at what you do obviously might be subjective thinking about it for yourself, right? Am I really that good, right? Like it's pretty subjective, but you got to think about this too. If you bring on 100 students, how many of them are successful? And success is a broad term. So whatever you're promising, let's just say I teach e-commerce. I teach people how to make their first $10,000 with e-commerce in online, right? If I brought on 100 people, how many of those people got to that point with my help? Obviously, there's factors there that could come into account, like they didn't listen to anything I did. But 100 people who do actually like pursue this with you, how many are actually successful? Well, that's your success rate. Now, anything that's above 90% I would be considered good. Okay, because if they fit the bill, I'm going to do the thumbs up again. If they fit the bill, number one, if they are qualified, number two, and they're willing and coachable, number three, and you go through the actual process with them and they're not successful, that is obviously a testament to your ability to teach someone, right? So thinking about it from that perspective, you don't need to be the best in the world to succeed, but you need to do need to be great at what you do for where you're at in your point in time in the journey and teach people according to that level of mastery that you have. So for example, if you're a level 10 master, then you can help people from 0 get to a level 10. And there we go with the fucking thumbs up again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. But if you're a level 6 of mastery, then you can only teach people from a level 0 up to a level 6. You can't be out here marketing towards people who are a level 6 trying to get to a level 10 because that's still where you're at, right? So you have to make sure that all makes sense. So you have to make sure you master your craft, deliver consistent results, understand your audience's needs, and making sure that that's the overall basis of where your marketing message lies. Okay, this ensures what your authority is. This will ensure that when your authority is established, it's built on a foundation of real value and not just false pretenses and false promises that they can't really achieve because you haven't even achieved them yourself yet, right? That's really, really important. So number 2 is going to be great ads. Obvious, right? Super, super obvious. But the effectiveness of your ads is not about the budget you spend, but how well they communicate your message. This is something I always press on for everybody who runs ads, okay? You can do all the animations, all the edits, all the things in the world. You can even like hire people to do it and whatever, right? But if your message is shit, your ad is shit. That's really what it comes down to. If you're not saying what needs to be said in the right way, you're always going to shit the bed on ads. Okay. So 4 critical key components of these ads being successful. Clearly articulate what your offer is and why it matters. That's the messaging. Okay. That needs to resonate with them directly. So those are like the different market indicators for like where they're at, different levels of awareness, right? All that kind of good stuff. Understanding where your audience is at right now that we're trying to get in front of. Okay. Number 2 is the visuals. Use imagery and video that resonates with your target audience. Minimally. Animations don't give a shit about animations. That shit doesn't even actually work that well. Look at Ty Lopez's ads, okay? Or Brandon Carter or Grant Cardone, okay? They don't need flashy shit at all. They don't need like a clip and an edit and zoom ins and transition screens and animation pop-ups. Like it's all bullshit. Like no one really cares about it. It's actually really spammy and scammy feeling. Because it's like anyone can do that, okay? But not anyone can just go out and create a baller ad that's messaging sounds immaculate. So that's what you need to focus on is speaking to your people, just being authentic. That's why tone and authenticity come in here, right? Because you need to match the tone with your brand's voice and your audience's expectations. If I was sitting here not being my true self, and I was like, so today we're going to talk about, and then you know how all the YouTubers talk, they like talk in sound bites. It's like a bunch of bullshit. It's not authentic at all. Like it's like an edited sentence every fucking sentence. That's what you want to stay away from. So that's why I always opt for like, just rip the ad, like literally just go out and record the ad in a full 60-second clip naturally. Stutter a little bit. I don't care. Like make it natural. I don't want to have to clip it up into different segmented video clips because that's just really inauthentic. The tone's broken. The messaging kind of sounds unclear. And it's just kind of ass at the end of the day, right? So we want to stay away from that. But the tone here, the tone needs to match that brand's voice and audience's expectations. Because if you're being serious, you need to take it serious, obviously. Don't be dressing up like a clown and going on joking around about it. But authenticity needs to be genuine in your approach to build that trust and credibility as well. So you need to focus on those things. It's really, really important to do so. So the ads you create set the stage for the entire strategy overall. They're the first touch point with potential leads. So you have to make sure that the first impression is going to captivate, inform, and pre-frame them for your next steps with a foundation of authority and credibility. That's really important. Number 3 is the second step after we do those things successfully, which is a great VSL. Now, this one's obviously probably the hardest one. I would argue that running good ads is more, I would say, I guess, easier. I wouldn't want to say easier. I guess simpler than having a great VSL video. Because number one, having great ads will determine whether or not we get good results on VSL. But having a great VSL will determine how much money we're making as a company too. So it's more important, I would say. Your VSL is the bridge between interest and a conversion. Okay. So interest is done from the ads. Conversion is done on the VSL. It's just like a sales call. The interest is done on the front end, right? The actual close is the conversion off the back end of the call. So that's what a great VSL should have. And these are the 4 contextual components of one. Contextual relevance. Number 1, key point. Align with the messaging align with the messaging and narrative established in your ads. A lot of times, a lot of creators typically run ads that are not contextual at all to the VSL. It's completely different. They're split testing a ton of different messaging on ads, and a lot of them tend to not be contextual with what's being taught on the VSL page. So you need to make sure they're both corresponding to each other. Number 2 is messaging is on point. You need to deliver your value proposition clearly and compellingly. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Your value proposition is your claim, your unique selling proposition, right? Like the main reason they should be interested. That needs to be clear and deliver it with actual compelling evidence and a compelling reason why you're the only way this offer, or that you're the only way that they're able to get to the end goal that they have in mind. This is ties into like being not just a improvement offer, but being more of a opportunity, a new opportunity in your market. So a lot of people don't get this right. This ties into offer building. And this is what also we do to make sure your messaging is very clear. So we build out your unique selling proposition, your offer, and all that kind of good stuff together as we run ads, because it's very, very important. But you can't do this unless you have that on point. Because if you just have an e-commerce offer and you're teaching people e-commerce, dude, 20 other people do the same shit. Why are you so different? Well, is it a new way to do e-com? High ticket e-commerce came out. Obviously, there's guys like Brooke Hiddink or other guys that made it really, really popular, but it's not a new opportunity anymore, right? When it first came out, it was a new way to do e-com. Now you can take the generalized e-commerce route. We can break down your process and create your process of how you've done it to be your unique method, and then leverage that as the new opportunity on the same commodity model, which is e-com, and make it sound like a new opportunity. That's what it is we do. That's how we take commodity offers and turn them into unique value offers. Okay. So if you want help, let me know. But nonetheless, let's get into number 3, narrative fit. Okay. You need to address the pain points, desires, and motivations of your audience as well in the video. Very, very important. So this needs to be speaking to your audience directly. Like this needs to fit a specific demographic, right? Imagine me as let's just say like a heart doctor, a cardiologist, right? And my nurse that I have pre-screening people before they see me. All right. That's like your ad. They're doing a completely other pre-screening process. Let's just say for like a different type of doctor, right? Like a neurosurgeon or whatever the case, right? A neuropathic doctor, which is your brain. So essentially, let's just say your nurse is pre-screening someone for that. Okay. This ties into the contextual relevance in number 1 in your messaging. But let's just say like the narrative fit for who that person was inside of the neurology pre-screening process. And then they go see you as the doctor on the VSL, and you're talking about cardiology, heart stuff, right? It's like, it's obviously not contextual. They're like, like this is not aligning with me at all. Like none of this aligns with me whatsoever. That's what you need to stay away from. So you need to make sure it all is relevant. It all is contextual. You know what pain points to talk about. You know their desires, motivations. You know all of those things, and we're touching on all of those things in the VSL. And then it needs to be value driven. So you need to provide enough valuable insights to build trust, but leave them wanting more. Okay. This is super important. So like you hear a lot of the time, like, oh, don't gatekeep everything, give away everything for free. Like, yes, in a lot of ways you have to do it like that because we need to give away everything because we give away the information, we sell the implementation. You hear it said all the time, right? Very cliche, but it is true, right? So you can give away a lot of information here and walk people through the exact way you do things, just like I'm doing here, honestly. Like you can go out and take all this shit. I'm going to give you this document down below, obviously, so you guys could take and utilize it. You can go try to figure it out on your own, but you're going to find that you're going to run into problems. You're going to run into, obviously, other issues. There's going to be a way lower likelihood of you being successful with this because I've already proven success with it way before you have and for way longer time than you have as well. So yeah, you can spend all that time to figure it out yourself, or you can hire me to do it for you a lot faster. That's going to be pretty much the overall decision process for them. And ultimately, as you see this, I'm building credibility and trust with you because I've already rolled this out for several of my clients and we're already successful with this many, many times. So that way you can know that obviously I'm truly know what I'm doing, and also you know how the process is going to look when we roll this out. So it's not foreign to you anymore. So that way you're like, wow, he's giving away a lot of secrets. I'm sure there's more things, and there is. So that way you can see that there's still more that you want to get done. So a well-crafted VSL doesn't just inform, but it persuades. Okay. It's the key to turning an interested lead into a committed client. That's key to bridge that gap there. How do we get them from interested into committing to actually joining and becoming a client? And that's what we do with scripting out your VSL as well. But you have to make sure those components are in place. So why I do what I do at Phantom Marketing, I wanted to give you a quick little brief overview of this real quick and kind of do like a self plug here if you do want to work with me together. So I specialize in creating and executing the Phantom effect here, like I just mentioned to you, strategy, because I've seen firsthand how it can transform businesses. We literally implemented something similar like this in the organic world and was able to generate multiple seven figures in just a few months with one offer. So my mission, and I'm not saying that's very typical. It's definitely not very typical. He was very good at what he does and had not too big of an audience, but we were still able to manage to get as many people to come into his ecosystem because of how good he was at what he did. And we did very well with that. Now, with that too being said, we have other clients that don't have any brand, got on a podcast, leveraged this same structure for how we structure the offer, build out the entire system, value ladder, all that, and messaging and whatnot with the free training and everything like that on the VSL. And we're doing close to 15, 20K a month with no marketing yet because there's some personal things going on there. But I'm just letting you know, like someone brand new with no marketing at all can still make this work because of the factors that make this a reality for people, which is the VSL and actually the sales process and all the things on the back end as well, right? All the things that I'm teaching you on this is the front end stuff. But I've seen firsthand how it impacts all the businesses. Super, super cool and very important. So my mission is to help you achieve greatness in your field, which could be very different things for a lot of people, greatness, right? But building your authority, crafting compelling ads, delivering powerful VSLs that resonate with your audience. That's what I build for you, and all the funnels associated, the back-end workflows and all the fun stuff too that you don't want to worry about to help you grow and increase your revenue for your business. So if you are ready to elevate your marketing strategy and see real results, I would love to help you. So I want you to book a chat with me if you do want to work together. If not, that's totally fine. Okay. I only want to work with you if you're serious about this. It'll be like a lower to mid-range 4-figure investment on a monthly retainer. We can work out what it might look like depending on how much work you need, but it's definitely not going to be ridiculous just because usually most people that come to me are either trying to scale to multiple 5 or 6-figure months, or they're just starting out. Some are in between, but those are like very polarizing types of positions. So we can work out what needs to happen depending on where you're at. So just book a chat if you want to talk about my process. I'll walk you through my 4 steps of the phases that we walk through to help you get to the end result. And ultimately, There's no one else out here in this industry that's leveraging this exact strategy. They're all tied to their own ways. They have a lot of data to back up their proof, but it never really usually works for a lot of people. It works for a specific type of clientele. That's why everyone's saying like, you have to be, fitting this exact criteria for me to work with you. Like, no, this will work for you if you're good at what you do, like I said, and you're willing to work together and you just do what I tell you to do. We'll do this and we'll make it actually happen. I promise you. So, and nonetheless too, I have a ROI guarantee. So if you want to chat on it, just book a chat and we'll talk about it. But hopefully this was valuable to you. Hopefully you got a lot of information, and I hope to see you inside of Monetize Mentor. Join the community down below. Talk with me in there if you want to chat. Book a chat at some point, and we'll keep moving forward. But hopefully this was valuable. Let me know some feedback, and I'll chat with you guys soon. Peace.